You're listening to the Business and Life Conversations podcast with Angela Henderson, episode 72. Hey there, you're listening to the Business and Life Conversations podcast. My name is Angela Henderson, and on this show, we talk about improving your business, life, or both by having amazing and rich conversations with brilliant guests who will inspire you and who will give you tips and tricks to help you grow both in life and in business. You don't need to do business alone. Join the conversations, be part of my community, get inspired, and let's rock together. www.angelahenderson.com.au. Well, hey there, and welcome back to another awesome episode of the Business and Life Conversations podcast. I am your host, Ange, from Angela Henderson Consulting, where I am a business consultant and coach who has helped hundreds of women business owners from around the world get all the pieces in place to have consistent 5-figure months and then go on to 6-figure years without burning out in the process. Now, today we're going to be talking about women in business retreats, and are they really worth it? So many positives, but could there equally be so many negatives? We'll soon see. But before we hop straight into this amazing episode, I'd like to remind you that if you enjoy this episode, I would love for you to share it or even share your thoughts about this episode, especially on your Instagram stories. And don't forget to tag me at Angela Henderson Consulting, because I may have a slight addiction with Instagram. Now, let's get started. 2 weeks ago, almost to the date, I was preparing for Australia's leading 4-day, 3-night women business retreat that I created a few years ago. Nerves were high. Excitement was in the air. 50 women from all over Australia were preparing to fly in or drive in or walk in, whatever form of transportation they were coming in to the Gold Coast, and hang out with some of the top leaders in this space, like Cherie from Digital Picnic, Steph from Steph Taylor, Anita from WordFetti, and so many other amazing speakers, but equally so many other amazing attendees. I knew this was going to be another year of epic transformation, and that, my friends, it was. There were tears, there was laughter, friendships were formed, transformation took place, epicness happened. And yes, my friends, epicness is a word. So in this episode, I want to share with you my opening welcome that I had shared with those that had attended the event. So you really get a feel about what happens at these things. And then I also have a few sound bites from the attendees sharing their own experience. This way you have a true understanding of whether or not women in business retreats are really worth it for you and your business. And what I can say is this: tickets have already gone on sale and 40% of tickets have already sold out. So if you're wanting to secure your ticket, I suggest that after you listen to this episode, you head to angelahenderson.com.au and click on retreat to secure yours today. So imagine you've got 50 women in a room, super excited to be there. Some of them not really sure what's about to happen. They've never been to a women in business retreat. And so I wanted to do my opening welcome, and it goes a little something like this. You see, I'd chosen the theme for the year to be Choose to Shine, and I wanted those women sitting in those spots to understand why that title came about. And so my presentation went a little like this. 10:45, New Year's Day. I was getting ready to hop on a call actually to Jerusalem to speak with this guy about his podcasting agency. And like I said, 10:45 p.m., I was trying to be super quiet so I didn't wake up the family. I was in my office putting my headphones in for the podcast interview. And I kept getting a phone call from my family in Canada, FaceTime actually. And they kept ringing and ringing. And I was thinking, those assholes are drinking right now. It's New Year's Eve. I can't really be present with them right now. I didn't want that phone call to be too quick. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to answer, but as soon as I'm done this call, I'll give them a call back, because that way we can laugh and giggle and they'll show me everyone on the video. But the phone kept ringing. So something was in me to pick up that phone call, and that's what I did. I picked up the phone call and it went something like this. Henny is what they call me, obviously Henderson, and they call me Henny for short and have for over 20 years now. Henny, it's Dad. His heart has stopped. Now, these guys aren't my biological family, but I call them my family and have, like I said, for over 20 years. So Dad is a very close person in my life. And she said, Henny, it's Dad. His heart has stopped. And they've revived him once, but his heart has stopped again. And they're trying to revive him. They've got him in an ambulance, etc. And so I was trying to calm, I'm trying to process this. And I'm trying to speak with Stacy about everything. And they have to drive about 2 hours to get to where the hospital was. And it's, nighttime, the ice is slick, roads in Canada aren't great. So I was like, listen, just drive safe. There's nothing that we can do right now, but it's going to be okay no matter what happens. So I hop on the phone call with this Josh guy from Jerusalem. I mean, it was really too late to cancel. He would have thought that was a complete dud if I did that, because it was like 1 minute before we would jump on. So I kind of compose myself, get myself together, hop on the call with him. And shortly after that phone call was done, I received the call from Canada to let me know that Dad had passed. So I'm sharing this with a room full of women. And I said there that, again, choice came on the screen. And I wanted them to know that in the last year, I've lost my grandmother on Christmas Day, my brother on Mother's Day a few months before that, and then now Dad on New Year's Day. And I was thinking, F you, universe. 3 significant holidays, Christmas, Mother's Day, and now New Year's Day. And you're going to throw me this? Come on. I was pissed. I was so blatantly upset about what had just happened. But it was choice. I knew when that happened, I needed to make a choice that I would get through this grief, and I wasn't going to let it consume me. Now, please hear me out. There are days where I will just start crying out of nowhere. Even now, slightly teary. But I allow that grief to happen when it needs to. But you see, it also just got it out of depression and anxiety that had been going on for a while. So I had been about 6 to 8 months in remission, and I did not want to go back to that. I'd worked far too hard to come out of that, get off my medication, etc. So choice. I had choices, just like the women sitting in that room had choices to make in the upcoming days. But also, there are women in that room who had gone through divorce in the last 12 months. There are women in that room who have gone through enormous physical health problems in the last 12 months. There's equally women who had gone through mental health problems in the last 12 months. There are women in that room who are getting their children assessed for a variety of reasons. There were women in that room who had moved state. There are women in that room who have equally lost loved ones. There are women in that room that had pivoted their business. There are women in that room who had done a variety of things that wasn't on their plan. But regardless, each of those women had chosen to shine. And thus, chosen to shine was the theme, because as I was looking and getting to know these people as they were buying tickets to the retreat, I got to know there was more to them. Their stories were rich. And there's pain there, and there's decisions, but they still showed up in their business. They still showed up for their families, and they still chose to shine. They chose to show up. They chose to grow. They chose not to give up. Again, they chose to shine. And that is how I started off the conference, is I wanted those women to know that they can continue to shine. They can continue to make great choices that allow them to, because the only people in that room that are driving what happens or what doesn't happen is them. And it is just like you listening to this podcast right now. You can choose to complain about life and get the shits or whatever, or you can choose to get up and try to find a way to make it work. And thus, that's how we started the overall Women in Business retreat for this year. Now I would love to share with you some amazing, really short and concise clips of those women that attended the retreat over the 4 days and what their key takeaways are, to give you a better understanding of whether or not a 4-day, 3-night Women in Business retreat is what you need to get your business to the next level.
Zoe Buckley here from Learning Boosters, www.learningboosters.com.au. I came to the retreat for an infusion of community. That human-to-human contact is really, really important. And that's one of the things I've picked up at the retreat, is that human-to-human contact. People are wanting more and more of that. My big aha moment is that procrastination is in the disguise of fear, or I should say fear is in the disguise of procrastination, and to tell myself some different stories that my life before now is not necessarily, well, actually is not my story for the future.
So I'm Caroline Partridge from socialstrategymom.com. And I chose to come on the retreat because I wanted to start making human connections with actual people rather than always doing that from my computer. My biggest aha moment was listening to Ange talk yesterday about the old model of marketing versus a human model of marketing. and that connection just ends up in profits, even if it feels like it takes that little bit longer. My number one action item is to take imperfect action on a particular offer that my members are asking for that I've been stalling on because I didn't know how to create it. And now I know that I just need to get out there and do it, and it will come together.
I'm Lee D. Walker. I'm an artist. My website is leedwalkerartist.com. I wanted to come along to meet lots of other business women and connect with other people in a similar place to me. And I also wanted some help to deal with fear surrounding my business. I tend to feel quite overwhelmed. I just wanted some support and to find some ways around that so that I can move forward in my business and in my life. And I would say my biggest take home thing has really been about changing my mindset, feeling successful in the now. And I really kind of feel that some of that fear has begun to shift already. I've also had some real help with organisation, which has also really helped to shift that fear and that overwhelm, just some practical solutions to that. But yeah, definitely my biggest take home has been about my mindset and my beliefs and my story that I've been telling myself that isn't necessarily true. So it's been an absolutely fabulous conference. Loved it.
Hi, I'm Sam Winch from samwinch.com.au. I came, I guess, because I was ready. Off the back of 2 maternity leaves, I needed something that marked me coming back to the world, and this was for me as much as for my business. I think that was really important. My biggest aha is there is a big difference between just thinking you know something and really understanding how that fits for you and your business. And then there is an even bigger difference between knowing and understanding and actually doing it. So I think that's the biggest thing. And my number one action item for walking away is I actually need to stop doing some of the things I've been doing. The first thing I'm going to do when I leave is close one of the services that I currently offer. So that's it.
Hi, it's Shari from teenagesurvivalcoach.com. I'm here on the Gold Coast at Angela Henderson's Women in Business Retreat, and I chose to come to this because I always find such wonderful value in getting together with like-minded women and nutting out some great business ideas. My biggest aha moment of the weekend was probably from Lisa Corduff about the stories we tell ourselves and choosing to get rid of bullshit stories and tell ourselves our new truths. And my takeaway from this, and the first thing that I'm going to do, is take steps forward with imperfect action.
I'm Kim O'Gorman, and my website is kimogorman.com.au. I came to the conference ready to take some real action on my own business rather than focusing more on my clients' work. It's time to actually treat my business as if I'm a client and give it some attention. Biggest aha is definitely looking more from a mindset perspective, looking at the self-belief and self-worth to give myself permission to concentrate on my business and really value everything I can bring to my clients. Action items. So the next 2 months in my business will be creating really solid foundations and getting everything in place so that when I step up in 2020 and create the new activities and programs that I want to create, that everything's ready for that to go to the next level.
Hi, I'm Kath Fowler and my business is Regional Raw. You can find me at regionalraw.com.au. I chose to come to the retreat. I actually came last year to the first retreat and I decided I learned a lot from that and I wanted to come back. It had a great speaker lineup and I really just love the environment that Ange managed to create and the people she manages to bring together. So for me, it was more about just, networking and meeting other like-minded people. My biggest aha moment, and this was what I found so valuable from the retreat, was the mastermind sessions. So I sort of knew the direction I wanted my business to go in and I knew what I needed to do next, but I almost just needed to talk that through with a few people and get some validation around what I needed to do. So that was my biggest aha moment, that I actually already had the answers. I just needed to trust in that. And my number one action item is to just get a lot clearer with my systems and processes. This is something I've sort of known, but I just haven't been making the time to do it. And I really know that it's going to change a lot for my business if I can get that right.
Hi, my name's Marissa Towndrow. My business is Renovating Mums, and you can find me at renovatingmums.com.au. So I decided to come to Angela's retreat. I'd been working with Angela for 6 months, and I just found her so transformative as to where my business was heading. And the retreat offered me the opportunity to talk to other business owners and connect with them on a level that allowed me a few days to talk through their successes and talk through how it is that they've managed to move forward. Number one action item is to step into my success, because at the moment I haven't had that belief in myself. So I haven't been able to own my business, and even being able to talk about family and friends with what it is that I do, I haven't been able to do that. It's been so separate from who I am as an individual.
I'm Emma Gilchrist, and my website is karmadharma.com. I wanted some inspiration and some motivation. My biggest aha moment was probably during Lisa Corduff's presentation. The fact that perfection is an illusion. To believe and trust in myself and streamline my business to move forward from here.
Hey, this is Debbie Munn from the U Project. You can find me at www.theuproject.com. I came to the retreat really, I needed to connect again. I've had a very big year personally, and I needed to really find myself back in my business rather than looking at my business from the outside. So I came to connect with myself and with other women, and I knew I was going to learn and grow. I've only ever really done a lot of events that pertain to my industry. So this is the first time I've put myself in a space where there's people from all sorts of areas. So that was brilliant for me, and I got so much growth that I knew I would get from hanging around different people. My aha moment was really, even though I know this and I used to play big, it was when I really realized that I have started playing small, and probably have been for the last 2.5 years. So that was a great moment, and now I'm very excited. So my number one thing that I'm going to implement is to embrace technology, to stop hiding and to stop saying that I can't do it and that I'm afraid to be on social media, and I'm just going to get out there and get in front of people.
I'm Lyndall Guinery Smith. My website is professionalwriter.com.au. Why I came to the retreat was to get some clarity around my business and to work on the business instead of just working in the business. My aha moment is when Lisa said, my success is 100% my responsibility. So I really need to take ownership of my success, let go and step up. And the action that I'm going to take is to secure a VA and to define the processes I need to work with her effectively.
Hi, I'm Sharon Chisholm from sharonchisholm.com.au. I decided to come to Angela's retreat because I really need to move my business forward, and I was feeling some resistance about the steps that I need to take and exactly how to get to where I want to be. My biggest aha moment, I think, is that I just need to stop overthinking things and just get out of my own way, which has been a really good thing to think about. A good realisation. The first steps I'm going to do when I get home is actually make a strategic plan for 2020 and get my podcast launched by the end of next month. So I'm really excited about doing that because it's been a very long time in the making.
I'm Amy Mingan. You can find me at amymingan.com. The reason why I came to the retreat is because I've been wanting to step out of my particular niche and meet other female entrepreneurs and learn from some of the best minds who I've been watching and following on Instagram and Facebook for ages. My biggest aha moment, there are many, but it was probably today's, where the stories that we tell ourselves are almost always not the truth. And so we can just create our own destiny by writing a new story. That's super powerful, and that is going to be my action step to start writing some new stories and start being in those stories.
It's Molly from Motherhood Unplugged. The reason why I came to the retreat was really to build connections and to, step back into the role as a business person after having a break. My big aha moment was definitely with Lisa Corduff, when I realized how I have been definitely living as a victim. And the action that I'm going to take from that is definitely to start being the person that I want to be.
Hey there, it's Marissa Marshke from marketinginfohub.com. I came to Angie's retreat this year, my second year, because I really appreciate stepping outside of my business and my life and taking time away to actually focus on my business and what's next for it. My biggest aha moment was understanding that fear is always going to be there, but you just have to drive forward irrespective and acknowledge it, but don't let it control you. And moving forward, I think with that fear in mind, just pushing forward with all the plans and all the ideas and everything that I'm going to go forward with, believing that I'm already there.
My name is Lyndall Harris from podcastva.com, and I have just returned from Angela Henderson's retreat on the Gold Coast. The reason I decided to go to this retreat is because I am ready to scale up my business and step it up to the next level in 2020. And I felt that being in a room with 50 motivated and inspired business women, as well as amazing speakers, would really be a good opportunity for me to learn and mastermind some of those next steps that I need to take. My biggest aha moment has taken me a little while to work out because there were a few, but was when Lisa Corduff was talking about the fact that failure and perfection are both an illusion. My action item to take out from it, or my first action item, is to really make sure my systems and processes are solid and ready for the team to scale up with the additional work and clients that we take on next year.
I'm Michaela Moore from Deliberately Transformed and the Midlife Awakening podcast and michaelamore.com. I went to Angela Henderson's Women in Business retreat basically so that I could just immerse myself in business with like-minded women for a few days, to network, to learn, and to, come away with all sorts of goodness. I made some truly amazing friends there. I feel like I finally found my people, which is an amazing feeling. My biggest aha moments, there was so many to choose from, lots of things on social media, lots of things on systems, etc. And the first actions I'm going to take, outsourcing, baby. So many things that I need to outsource that I've been previously trying to do all myself. I've already got my tickets for next year and I can't wait. Such an amazing retreat. Thanks, Ange.
How amazing is the feedback from those awesome women in business owners? So awesome, and so much growth happened for each and every one of them, but in different ways. So if you've been sitting on the fence about whether or not a Women in Business retreat is actually worth it, I hope this episode has clarified for you that these are absolutely amazing. These retreats are amazing for so many reasons, and those reasons will be dependent on what you need for you and for your business. I would love to see you at the 2020 4-day, 3-night Women in Business retreat next year. I would absolutely love it. As I mentioned earlier, we have already sold 40% of tickets. So if you do want to hit this particular retreat for next year, then I strongly encourage you to head to angelahenderson.com.au and secure your ticket immediately, because you don't want to miss out in 2020. I can also confirm that we do have 6-month payment plans, which has made it so affordable for people to come, and also equally to help with their cash flow. So make sure you head to angelahenderson.com.au to secure your ticket today. And before we sign off, just a few reminders. My team and I will also be putting together the whole transcription for this episode at angelahenderson.com.au. And as I mentioned earlier, if you enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to share it, especially on your Instagram stories, and tagging me at Angela Henderson Consulting, or share it on whatever social media platform you love. I'd also love if you could take a minute and subscribe to this episode so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And lastly, I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day, and I look forward to you joining me next week for another amazing episode of the Business and Life Conversation Podcast. Thanks for listening to the Business and Life Conversations podcast with Angela Henderson. www.angelahenderson.com.au